Hello, Cougars. Welcome to Business 110. In this video, we're going to be looking at pricing strategies, talking about different ways to price or consider price when you're pricing a product. So the first thing we're going to look at is called competitive pricing. And so overall, we have the 4P's of marketing, okay? Product, price, place, and promotion. Price is really one of the hardest ones to figure out. It's critical to consumer evaluation of the product. So you don't make a decision to buy something until you know the price. In fact, it drives me nuts sometimes to go onto a website and there's no price listed. But why does a business not list a price? Just because they want you to engage with them so they can start a conversation. Because more than likely, if they build a relationship with you or start a conversation with you, they're able to drive you towards a sale, or at least that's the idea behind not posting your price for a service or something like that. We got to keep in mind that price is not the whole package, but it is an important part of the total package. And it can also be as much a marketing tool as it is how you generate profit. So let's look at some objectives for pricing. What are some things you should be considering or rules you should think about when you're pricing a product? What's your target return? What are you looking to make? What are you hoping to get? So if you change the price, you could change the price to change that profit. You could also change the amount of products you're putting in the box. So for example, if you're selling a makeup product that's at 8 ounces and you're selling it for $10, I'm just making it up. Okay, so $10 for 8 ounces. Well, let's say you reduce that to 7 ounces. Okay, you're actually increasing the price of the product without changing the price. Okay, so that's something to consider. But the goal behind that strategy is I'm trying to reach a target return or a target profit that I've decided I need to make. Another objective is to build traffic. So one way that supermarkets often do this is called a loss leader. Black Friday is known for this. We're going to sell something at a loss. We know we're going to lose money on it, but we also know that you're going to come to my store to buy it because it's such a good deal. And the hope is, and it's been proven out by research and statistics, is you go in to buy that one thing, but you also walk out buying something else that is not being sold at a loss. And so the store actually overall makes money. We're pricing something so we can get people in the door and with the idea that they're going to buy some other things. And there's lots of other ways to do that too. The next one is we're going to achieve a greater market share. So we're going to talk about penetration pricing and some other pricing strategies for that later on. But I'm going to price it so that people are going to be more willing to buy, and I'm going to create a larger market for myself because of my price. I might be creating an image. So this gets into brand. So we've already talked about brand a little bit earlier this week, but I'm going to price my coffee at $4 because it tells someone that it's not just a $1 coffee. It has an image to it. So the price can tell you something about the product. As long as it actually matches up with the product, consumers will buy the image that you're selling them. We can also price things to further social objectives. So we can connect our price to certain events or other things like that. And so the first strategy we're going to look at is cost-based pricing. So it's really what we've talked about in this class so far is we're going to measure our production costs. We're going to look at how much does it cost to make my lip gloss, because of how much do I have to pay to get all the ingredients that go into it? How much does my time cost to make it? And is there any overhead? And remember that overhead is for the big items like the machines that you use to prepare the product, to the rent, the air conditioning, the electrical bill, those things that you have to pay no matter what. If I don't sell anything, I still have to pay these bills. If I sell 1 million of these things, I still have to pay those bills. So it's kind of your overhead or fixed cost. So you're going to measure those production costs, then you're going to add in your profit. How much are you hoping to make? So the problem with this is in the long run, the market, not you, the producer, determines the price. So in the long run, it's your consumer who determines what your price is going to be. That's economics 101, law of supply and demand. That's ultimately what's going to determine your price. Okay. So then the question becomes, can you afford to do this product? If you know what the market price is, okay, can you afford to do it? So the simple math is cost of the object plus the profit that you're looking for equals the price that you're going to sell it for. Pretty simple. And that's why a lot of people do this, because ultimately it is a simple starting point. But this can be a real problem. Let's look at another strategy. Demand-based pricing. So it is totally based on the consumer. So you start with the price. So you know your customer is, based on your research, is only going to buy a vending machine rental from you for $500, whatever. Okay. You start with the price. You know that's going to be the price of your product. You're going to subtract the profit from that. And then the remaining amount is how much money you have to make it work. And then the question becomes, well, can you afford to do it? So this is called target costing. We're going to design a product so that it satisfies customers and meets the profit margins desired by the firm. In other words, we're going to take our price. We know the price is set by the market. We're going to subtract the profit we need to stay in business, and that equals the target cost. That's how much I'm allowed to spend on making this product. And if I can't make the product for that much, well, then maybe I need to rethink what I'm doing. Okay. But this is demand-based pricing. The next one is competition-based pricing. So I'm going to price based on what all the competitors are doing. So the danger with, I kind of mentioned this one in the terms of competition-based pricing. The caveat to this one is if you're doing like an Instagram store, you can definitely charge different prices because you're not a brand name, those kinds of things. So you can really be flexible and move to where your customer is. This is kind of more like I'm exactly going to look at what other people are charging, especially big name companies. And I'm going to price it based on what everybody else is doing. So everybody's charging $2.95 for a Coke at the fast food restaurant. That's what I'm going to charge. Okay. Now you can do this at, below, or above the competitor's price. So this is where some people might try to duck under the price, or you might actually price it above. Why would you price it above your competitor? Maybe you're trying to achieve a status bump, saying, hey, my product is better than theirs. That could be a reason. Apple's not shy about charging a lot of money for their phones, okay? And they probably still sell some of them at a loss to get you into their services stuff. Okay. Some of this depends on the customer loyalty, the perceived differences between your product and someone else's product. So I'm looking at 4 different brands of lip gloss. What are the actual differences? Some of those actually, from a purely clinical scientific standpoint, there may really be no difference between them, but you might have a perceived difference between them. Okay. And what is the competition climate? If there's no competitor in your space, not really, then you can charge whatever you want. Okay. But if there's a million people selling t-shirts, because there are, that's a pretty competitive climate. So how do you price things and be competitive and not lose money? So price leadership is a strategy by which one or more dominant firms set the pricing practices of all competitors for the industry to follow. So this might not be the best example, but what's the going price for a console game or a computer game? It's probably $59.95 or higher, honestly. That's the starting price for most games. You might get some of the Switch games that start at $29.95, but that's the going price. So if you create a new video game, if you go under that price, it's okay, but automatically you're signaling to your audience, this is what my game is. Although on the flip side, if you charge $59.95 and it's not a $59.95 game, people will be upset. Okay. What's the going price for branded coffee? I don't buy a lot of Starbucks, so I don't know. But if you go to Starbucks and then you go to a similar type of branded coffee shop, I guarantee you those prices are probably very similar. So who's the price leader for that? It's probably Starbucks, okay, or a Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, something like that, one of the bigger chains. Can you sell outside of these prices? So you can, but can you afford to? That's probably the bigger question. Can you sell your product higher at a higher price? Is your product worth the premium of a higher price? Hopefully it is, because that just tells people what kind of quality you have. Can you afford to do it at a lower price? I've said often in class, and I think it's a good idea, is to never compete on price. You should be competing on value. In other words, your product should have a special value to your customer, and then the price won't even be a concern, okay? But if you try to compete on price as a small business owner, you're not going to be able to play with the big dogs like Walmart, okay? Walmart can charge low prices because of the amount of sheer volume they do is large. They do such large volume of business, they can afford to drop prices pretty low, okay? So competition-based pricing. Next one, this is one that you're gonna have to do for your business plan. It's the break-even analysis. So looks complicated, it's really simple. It's the process to determine profitability at various levels of sales. So you can plug these numbers in and into a formula, put it in a spreadsheet, and you can say, if I sell 1,000 lip glosses, am I going to be making enough money to keep my business alive? So the break even point is the point where revenue from all sales equals costs. So we're not making a profit, we're just breaking even, and we're able to do the business and sell things, but we're not losing money, but we're not gaining profit. So the equation is, the formula is the break-even point here, it's equal to the total fixed costs. So the total of your rent, your electric bill, all those kinds of things that are fixed overhead type costs that you're going to pay no matter what you're doing for your business. Okay. Salaries, what are the total fixed costs? Okay. Then what is the price that you're going to charge for your lip gloss? So if this is $200,000, which is what I've put down here, $200,000 is my fixed cost for, say, a month. You could do this for a year, however you want to do it, but this is my fixed cost for 1 month. My variable costs of making one unit, so one lip gloss, for example, it costs me $15 to make one lip gloss, and I'm going to sell it for $40. Or it costs me $15 to make one t-shirt, and I'm going to sell it for $40. So this is the cost to make it, and this is the price that I'm going to charge. This means to break even, I would have to sell 8,000 items. I have to sell 8,000 of those to break even. Okay. So what's the driver of this number? The driver of this is your fixed cost. And I urge you to look at this from two standpoints as a beginner. If you're just working out of your house, put your rent in there, put what it costs for you to live in your house as if it were your business, and put that in there and see what you have to do. Is that a reasonable number? Can you do that? If not, then that doesn't mean you don't do it, but you may have to think of it, the business that you're doing, more of as like a side hustle, because you still have to make enough money to pay the rent and pay some of those fixed costs. For a bigger business where you're actually paying rent on the facility where you're operating your business off, this is critical. You got to be able to do that many sales and to be able to survive. Now, this can get complicated because what if you have more than one product line? Okay, so then you have product line number 1 plus product line number 2. Okay, so you can put in all your products in there. This is where using a spreadsheet and using formulas and all that kind of stuff can be fancy. So right now, we're just going to use the simple version of this because most of us have only one product for our business plan. We can go through and verify the math with more than one product one-on-one if you want to do that. So some other pricing strategies. So the first one is a skimming strategy. We're going to price a new product high to recover research and development costs. So one of our students is developing a clothing line. And that research, especially if you're going to go and product test it, have a couple of items made and then people wear it and test it out for you, all those kinds of things, it's going to cost you money. So maybe you're going to actually price your product high to start with to try to get some money to recoup all the money that you sunk into that. Okay. And the goal is to make as much profit as possible while there's little competition. If you're profitable, if you're making money with the higher price, the competition is going to want in on this. The danger with this is if you overprice your product, then you may not be able to recoup those losses. So the real key here is this isn't just like a t-shirt. This is like a new product. So I've got the new Apple glasses. Nobody has a product like that on the market. So I'm going to start with a high price because it's going to go quick and I'm going to try to recoup all my research and development loss. The Tesla, when it first came out, priced high, trying to recover research and development costs, and now the price has dropped. Okay, for like their Tesla Model 3, prices dropped considerably from when it first came out. Okay, skimming strategy. Next one, market penetration strategy. We're going to price new products low. Basically, people like a good deal. That's a low price. I can afford it. I'm going to buy it. But the low price means the profitability is a longer term profit kind of a deal. It's not going to be a quick money. It's not going to be large amounts of money necessarily. In other words, you keep your competition out so you can build your market base, and then hopefully you have developed some brand and some customer loyalty, and then you can do some other things to increase your profit. Everyday low pricing, EDLP. That's the slogan of Walmart right there. Set prices below the competition, no sales, consumers shop here now or wait for competitor to put products on sale. In other words, like Walmart rarely actually puts things on sale. They do more sales in their grocery store just because they got to get product out of there because it'll go bad if they don't get rid of it. But most of their stuff, they never put it on sale. And if they are, they're trying to get rid of it. So a consumer is going to go, we're going to Walmart because they got the lowest prices. If they want a different competitor's price, they have to wait for it to go on sale for it to match the price of the other object. That's just kind of how it works. The problem with this is you got to have the ability to do that, to sell your products at a low price. High-low pricing strategy. Normal prices are higher than EDLP, but sales are lower than EDLP. So for example, Best Buy charges more than Walmart on average. But when they put things on sale, their sales will generally be lower than a Walmart price, generally low or at that Walmart price, but only when they put something on sale. Okay. So a high-low pricing strategy. This is what most smaller businesses do. Psychological pricing. A whole long topic about this, but basically we're going to make products appear less expensive than it is. So this is instead of charging you $13, I'm going to charge you $12.95. Okay. It's $13 basically, but I'm going to put $12.95, even though we know it's $13, there's still something in our brain that sees the 12 and like, oh, it's cheaper. Okay. There's also the infomercials are notorious for this. You can get this for the low price of $19.99 and then in fine print times 6 payments. Okay. So they put something up there that makes it appear much cheaper than it actually is. And then you have to read the fine print and go, oh, it's not so cheap. Okay. Psychological pricing. All kinds of mind games. How does the market affect pricing? Don't forget supply versus demand. The market, the consumer, ultimately determines the price. The really challenging thing in this day and age, in some ways it's a good thing, but the bad thing is online shopping has made it difficult to set prices. We talked about this way back when. We talked about supply and demand, but the consumer can competitive shop. It compare prices almost instantly. So you can't charge a high price thinking, well, my customer's just going to come into my store and buy whatever I have because they want to buy my stuff. Most people, they're going to go online and go, oh, Amazon has that for $40 cheaper. I'm just going to buy it from there. Okay. So That's the market determining the price. Can you afford to sell your product for that much? And the answer may be no. On the flip side, you can go online and find out what the prices of things are. You should be going online, looking at your product that you're trying to sell. How much are things like this going for? Okay. How much is branded versions of this? How much are generic selling for? But you can examine the market and look at prices. The problem is, so can your customer. And so that's ultimately going to drive the price of your product. Don't compete on price. If you're trying to compete on price alone, you're going to fail. You should compete on product attributes, not on price. You should, if you notice this, most advertisements, they never mention price. They just talk about the product. They talk about the brand. They show someone having a good time. It is never about the price. Okay. If you want to charge a premium price, offer a premium service to go with your product. So maybe your lip gloss is a $5 lip gloss, but you're going to charge $20 for it. But that's because you're going to offer some beauty advice connected to that, to the sale of that product. You're going to offer a service that goes with it. Okay. So that might be something, if you're selling a product that even might be an everyday product, what kind of service can you also offer? Okay. Or if you're offering a service, is there some kind of product that you can also offer that goes with that service? So what you need to do is you need to price your goods and services for your business plan. This is what you're going to do right now. You're going to do a break-even analysis of your business. That's the number one thing you need to do right now, is do a break-even analysis of your business. So go back to your financial, go to your spreadsheet and look at what's the price of your product or service. Think about which pricing strategy are you using. Think about that, but then run your fixed costs through this formula, break-even analysis, and do a break-even analysis of your business. Okay, so thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.